the Kidney Cafe with Chef Benet. Welcome to the Kidney Cafe.
Hey guys, welcome to the Kidney Cafe. And when I tell you, of course, you know who I am, Chef Benet, and we're going to have some fun in the kitchen. You see a lot of ingredients up here, but when I tell you, when I like to make my vegan lasagna, I like to make it so I can taste an array of flavoring, and we have an array of flavoring right here. So let's dig right into it. Today, we're doing our vegan lasagna. So I kind of try to start you off a little bit by, you always take some of the pasta sauce and you put a little bit at the bottom. And then what I have today is the yellow lentil and brown rice pasta. So this is what I have. So I don't have the regular pasta that you would think. We're going vegan today. So we're going to start to build. So what I did, guys, was, now normally I like to kind of break one in half. Hopefully it'll work. There we go. And I like to just make sure that I put them so we can cover that. So what I normally do is, let me share with you the ingredients that we have today. And welcome, guys. We have some onions. We have some mushrooms, and you know that onions and mushrooms is a superfood. We have the eggplant. We have some zucchini. We have squash. We have some colorful peppers, red peppers. You already know most of these up here are superfoods. And when we talk about superfoods are foods that's really, really good for people who have kidney disease. And then, everybody, I have my Beyond Beef. What I did was I took the Beyond Beef and I crumbled them up so that they all can go into my veggie lasagna. My vegan lasagna is what we're going to be doing today. So we're going to take some of our sauce. So basically, you know how you make regular lasagna. We're going to do the same thing. We're just going to build. So I'm going to start off with some of my, this is the tomato sauce along with the ricotta cheese. Mix it up just like we normally would. Okay, and you see what I did here, guys. I got a nice flat pan here, and we start off with coming back with a little bit. This is our vegan cheese, so we're just going to do a little bit of that. Now let me tell you something about this vegan cheese that a lot of you probably already know. That you know that, here's some more vegan cheese. This is the mozzarella. First I put the vegan cheddar on. What we have to remember, guys, is a lot of times it takes forever for the vegan cheese to melt. So I'm going to share a little secret with you so your meal can come out perfect. Okay, so now that we did our base, which we did was we did the pasta on the bottom, we did some of our sauce, we did our vegan cheese. Now what I like to do is I'm going to come back with some Beyond Beef. And you're going to do this twice because you're building, right? Okay, so that's all the Beyond Beef that I need. Then I'm going to come with my yellow crook neck squash. And I'm just building. You see it's a little zucchini. We're going to get to use zucchini. Stop trying to rush. So put a little bit of these in here. Then we come back with the eggplant. We add some eggplant to this. And you may not use all of it, but these are some great ingredients that you can do anything with at any time. So then I'm going to come with my onions. And I love onions. Now, a lot of times you may say, well, why did you, chef, do this already when you could have did it raw and put it in there? Who's trying to do all that? Let me go ahead and prepare some peppers. Let me go ahead and prepare it now so I can already have it. It's not fully cooked, but it's sauteed enough that we can be able to get it. Now, look how beautiful that look, guys. So basically what I'm going to do now is do the same thing again. I'm going to lay my pasta down. This time I'm going to try to go close to the wall as possible. Now, where do I get most of these things from? Now, you can go to any store and you can get your veggies. And then what I did was I went to Whole Foods, which is around the corner from here, to get the kind of pasta that I needed. Okay. All right. So this is what we're doing, guys. Look how simple that was. We have built our pasta, built our lasagna. our vegan lasagna. So we're going to come back, and I like to have a meaty, give it that meaty appearance to my lasagna. You see, we only did one level, and we already came up to the top. So we're going to go ahead. This is our final layer. This is our eggplant. You know, I love me some mushrooms. And I don't think I did the mushrooms on the last layer. So now I'm just going to start going for it, because this is it. So whatever I don't use, I have to use on another dish. So of course I like to get as much of it as I can in there. What did we say? What did we say we're using today? We have our squash. I have some roasted garlic. I have some mushrooms and onions. And I'm not going to overdo it, because again, like I said before, guys, I can come back and I can use a lot of these ingredients on other items. But I just want you to see how easy it is to be a part of the Kidney Cafe, and how easy it is for you to cook your food. Now, you see I have it already up here, but now we still have to put our layer of cheese on it. So you see I have all of this left that I can do what? I can do some kind of stir fry. Now, of course, yours truly gonna eat that raw, but you know. All right, guys, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna come back. Now, before we put our cheese, we're gonna do our seasonings, okay? So, we're gonna use all of our seasonings here, and those seasonings, they're going to be up on the screen, but you know, I use the Chardonnay seasoning. I use my not rosemary. I keep wanting to use rosemary, but I use thyme. I put some black pepper on here because I like also a little kick. Now, mind you, keep in mind, I already seasoned all of the veggies. So this is just a little extra protection for us, a little extra layer to give us some, make sure we got that good taste going. This is some garlic powder that we have here. Here, some ground thyme. You know, one thing about me that I love is I love to make sure that as a vegan, and I'm not really a vegan, so I'm not going to say as a vegan, as a person who eat a lot of vegan foods and a person who love to eat, I have to make sure that my food tastes like something. Now, I'm going to give you the trick here, because guess what, guys? Most of this is not going to melt. Okay, I'm just gonna be honest with you. It's not gonna look like, it wouldn't look like the regular lasagna, but it is, and I'm gonna tell you why. So this is part of the secret. What I have here is, I have about a half a fourth of almond milk. I put some vegan butter in it, and guess what? I'm gonna put the cheese in it, because we're going to melt this. That's our cheating. We're gonna melt it a little bit, because by us melting this, and of course the stove don't want to act right when we live on the air, so that's no problem. So let's put this up here, put this here. There we go. And so we're going to turn that down so our cheese can start to melt. We're going to come back now with vegan cheddar cheese, okay? You know, and some of you, listen, this is my recipe. We're not telling you that you can't use regular American cheese and all that kind of stuff, but that's just my recipe. So now that I have the cheese on here, what I have to do now is come back with the melted cheese, and I like to do my Chardonnay seasonings on top. Let's talk a little bit about the Chardonnay seasonings. What have I told you all before? We're just going to stir this up so we can melt this. I told you that most of the Chardonnay seasonings, Brother Wing, our videographer, most of the Chardonnay seasonings, if you can look at them, you see more greenery coming out than anything. Why? Because it's more seasonings than salt. It's more herbs in here than it is salt. Why? Because the things that we like to talk about on the Kidney Cafe is we like to talk about potassium, phosphorus, protein, and sodium. For sodium purposes, you want to have less sodium as possible. We all need sodium in our body. We talked about that many times on the show, but it's important that we do the best we can to keep that sodium intake down, because sodium, which most people like to use the word salt, before we know it, what's going on? Before we know it, we're having high blood pressure. Before we know it, we're having inflammation. Before we know it, eating highly seasoned foods can cause gout. Remember what we talked about, my story. Gout is what caused me to go into kidney failure because of the medicine that I was taking for the gout, okay? So basically what you want to do, it's a little trick here, because what you want to do is you want to kind of get it a little melted so you can spread it across, because this isn't, the regular cheese isn't going to melt, so you're going to have to work with this because you already got the cheese up here. You see what I'm saying? You got to be able to smooth it over. And this is just to help the look. This is just for aesthetic purposes. Everybody say aesthetic. This is for aesthetic purposes. Why? Because Chef Benet believes in it's all about presentation. So what I like to do is sometimes you can use a spoon, sometimes you can use a knife, but what I like to do is I like to do the little spreading process to make sure that we get it all on here so we can have that look when it come out, that we got our good old mac and cheese looking like lasagna, looking like mac and cheese and all of that we were able to do. And you see what I did? I didn't use any other. I used the vegan butter that I already had, and I gave it a little saucy look. Okay, everybody can see that? All right. So let me say this before we go into the oven. A lot of times you can use whatever vegetables you want to use. I use squash because squash is really good for you, especially summer squash with vitamin A, vitamin C. Is really good for you. Certain squash is really good because it adds niacin. Certain ones are good because of the iron. It's important for you to understand that we got to keep getting these superfoods in our body because of the different nutrients and the different nutrients and minerals that will help us to keep ourselves stable and to keep ourselves, look how beautiful that looks. Only thing it needs to do is go in the oven. So it's important for you to understand that we want to do quick meals, but we also want to do meals that's going to be healthy for you and meals that you can really be able to spread out throughout the week. So not only was it a short time for me to make it, but then look how much lasagna I'm going to have. This lasagna, and I do it all the time, this is going to last me an entire week. Okay, you mix it up with other meals, but it will last an entire week. So when we come back, we're going to put this in the oven. We're going to set the oven now for 350. And to set the timer, I usually like to do 50 minutes, but you have to check it. I want to make sure, and you see I already sauteed most everything is already done. And this was a ready-made pasta that goes into the oven, so you don't have to boil it or anything like that. Do not get the pasta that you have to boil, everybody. This is oven ready. This says no boil. This is ready to go into the oven. So it's important that you do that. So let's put this in. And then what we're going to do is we're going to come back in about 50 minutes and we're going to take it out and we're going to be all ready to go. And that's it. That is Chef Benet's vegan lasagna. We'll be right back. Hey guys, like I said before, our vegan lasagna. Look how beautiful it looks. Check it out. Check it out. Look how beautiful it looks. Let's go ahead and try it out here. You saw what we did. I'm gonna have to do it. You know that, right? You know what's coming. Everybody say amen. Delicious. Hey guys, I am so excited today here in the Kidney Cafe. Why? Because I have my mother live in the studio. I don't know if you know this, but we just celebrated her 80th birthday. And I am so honored and privileged to have her here. And guess what? This is our Mother's Day show. It's Mother's Day 2021. And I am here with my mother live in the studio. She's the matriarch of the award-winning Bennett Career Institute and the Bennett Corporation. So, Ma, I am so happy to have you here in the studio. First, tell me, what does 80 feels like?
Well, 80 feels like I did when I was 16.
Now, you sure now?
I'm certain.
So you think you can do everything you did at 16 now?
I've been doing it. I haven't stopped yet.
I know
Thank
that's
the
right.
Lord for that.
I know that's right.
I planted all my flowers yesterday in my front yard.
Okay.
I did it myself.
Yes.
Like I always have.
Okay.
So I think I'm doing good. I know I'm doing good.
I know that's right. Okay, so let me say this now. We're in the Kidney Cafe, which I'm so excited to have you in. Tell me, why was it always so important that you made sure that all your children, especially the boys, knew how to cook?
Well, looking back over life, I've seen a lot of men that get married or girlfriends or whatever they have that could not cook. And I didn't want my boys sitting around not knowing what to do, how to do anything. So I am so proud of my boys that now, at this point now, I really don't even have to cook anything.
True.
I have, each one have their different dishes that they make. Bring them over. I don't have to cook anything. And all of it's really good. And my oldest son, he doesn't come that much, but his food looked like it came out of a magazine when he does cook.
Okay.
Everything is perfectly cut. His potatoes look like he bought them. So everything, and then the next son has gotten to the point that he cooks a lot of stuff that I used to cook, like my barbecue. He makes the barbecue.
That's true, Robert Bennett.
Yeah, he makes the barbecue. There's some other things that he makes that I used to make all the time. So he's good on that. And then Chat is really good at just about everything, but his main thing is seafood.
Yes, I love seafood.
So he loves making all the seafood and bringing it over. So I don't have to worry about the boys. I know they can take care of themselves, and the girls take care of themselves anyway. But the boys they can take care of themselves. If they don't, it's because they don't want to. It won't because they can't.
I know that's right. So now tell us, what are you going to do today in the Kidney Cafe?
Well, I'm going to do what everybody like me cooking is the turkey wings. So I'm going to make the turkey wings today.
Okay, but you know what? Now let me just say this for the record, man. She says that something that everyone likes for her to do. Well, you know what? Turkey wings is one of the million of things that she can cook and cook really well. My favorite happened to be her baked chicken. I've never had baked chicken. Just tell me just a little bit about that. How in the world do you get your baked chicken? I think it's the pan. But you tell me, how do you get your baked chicken to be so good?
Well, the baked chicken is almost like the turkey wings. If you cook them in any pan other than the roaster pan, it seems like it's something different.
So it is the pan.
I think it's the pan.
Well, you know, Mr. Kirby, my old mentor, used to always say that you only as good as your tools. And the pan in our industry is part of our tools.
Right.
So today we're using the roaster pan because she feels that that's going to give us the kind of result. Right?
That's right.
Okay, let's get started.
Okay. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to put our wings in just as they are. Wash them good, clean them up, put them in your pan.
So now, do you usually put anything in it, like any butter, any oil, anything?
No, don't put anything in it. Turkey
Okay.
wings makes its own juice, so you don't have to worry about it.
You hear that? Okay.
So after that, I just sprinkle a little right over top of it of garlic salt, garlic powder or garlic salt, either one.
Okay.
And then you do your seasoning salt. Just sprinkle it right over top of your now this, I'm only doing 4 wings here, so you would need a lot more seasoning if you had more wings.
So pepper, how much pepper is there?
This was a half a spoon of pepper, black pepper, just the black pepper. Then I'm gonna put them all together, mix all of this together. Make sure everything is seasoned real good.
In a dry pan,
In a dry pan, because the turkey wings is gonna make its own juice and its own color.
Okay.
So make sure all the seasoning gets on all of it real good. And you put the top on it and you put it in the oven.
That's it?
That's it.
Okay, so when do the gravy come and all of
Okay,
that?
after this is cooked about an hour and a half,
Okay.
it's done. Almost done. It is done at that point. By that time, then you would make your gravy.
So you have to make your gravy after it's done.
After it's done.
Okay. And so tell me what the gravy consists of.
The gravy only consists of flour and water.
Okay.
So that was a half a cup of flour. And you just mix the water until you get it to your consistency that you would like.
So what you mean by that, though?
Well, you don't want it lumpy.
Okay.
You have to have it at a consistent where it almost look like gravy.
How now? What would we do with the stove?
We're gonna set the stove to 350.
At 350?
And you're gonna cook the turkey wings for an hour and a half.
An hour and a half. Wow. Okay.
Now, most of the time you would have more than 4 wings, so you would still set it at 350 for an hour and a half. If you had a pan of wings, it would be the same thing. So you mix your. This is gonna be a really good gravy.
Okay. And I want you all to see what she's doing with this gravy, because that's the key.
Yeah, this is you.
So you're not adding any sauce or anything to it?
No, you don't put nothing but water and flour.
Water and flour.
It's plain flour and water. And you bring your fork up like this, and you can tell whether it's at a good consistency or not.
Because if there was more flour
bumpy, you don't want it bumpy.
Yes.
You don't want any bumpy or
lumps and all of that.
Right.
Okay. All right, guys, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to take a break. We're going to put these in the oven, and we're going to come back in an hour and a half with the completed turkey wings, and we're going to come back with more conversation with the matriarch of the Bennett Corporation. We'll be right back. Hey guys, like I said, we're back here in the Kidney Cafe, and I see that my mother famous turkey wings look amazing. But Mom, before you serve up the turkey wings for me, I never asked you about your journey during the time when I fell ill with kidney disease. We never really talked about it. Let's talk about it now. So how did you feel when I came to you, told you my kidneys failed, and the journey that we went through together of me being on dialysis to the transplant?
Well, first of all, when you told me, I had already gone through that with my aunt, because I had taken my aunt in, and I had her there for 11 years, and 9 of the 11 years she was on dialysis. So I kind of knew what it was like, and that was the last thing I wanted to happen to me and my children, because I knew what I had gone through with her. All the weakness and things that you can and cannot eat. Just a whole lot of things was happening. So when Chet told me that he was going to have dialysis, I got on my knees and I prayed to God to please don't let that happen to him. But that was not my will. It was God's will that he did it anyway. I did not want to see him sitting in the chair, in the dialysis chair, because I had gone through them so much with my aunt. I did not want to see him there. Now, I would have seen him if I had to, but I did not want to see him in the dialysis chair. But then I thought about it, Lord, what we going to do? So we started talking about where he could get a kidney from. So I went to my doctor. My doctor told me that my kidneys wasn't that good to try to give them to anybody else. I had to try to hang on to what I could with the kidneys that I had. So I said, well, I don't know what to do then. So then Chet and I started talking about trying to get a kidney from some other place. So I'm just finding out now, and he never told me a lot of the things that he went through, because when I was with my aunt, when she went to dialysis, I was always there to take her and to pick her up. So I knew she didn't have to go through, but when he told me the things that he went through, and it still bothered me to the day, how he would feel when he had to get out of the dialysis chair and try to get to his car. And he would be so weak and just couldn't hardly make it to his car, but he never told me these things because he knew, I know, I would have been there to pick him up if he had let me know these things. But he never didn't tell me the struggle he was going through until it was all over. So then when he was telling me that he was trying to get a new kidney, he had several people that had told him they would donate their kidney to him. And I was praying that he would get one. Please, God, give him a kidney because he cannot make it like this. So eventually, he had 2 or 3 people that was willing and able to give him a kidney. But the lady that he got it from, Acia Williams, he got the kidney from, she was determined. When I went to the doctor with him, the doctor said, the nurse said to me, when we said Acia Williams was giving her kidney, they told me, oh, the lady that wears the big hat, she comes up here all the time. So she was going to make sure that he got her kidney.
Mm-hmm. And she did.
And she did. So eventually, it did happen. On April the 9th, they both she shared her kidney with him, and that was one of the best things that could have happened to him and to me.
So let me ask you this question now. We're running out of time. So tell me, because I know that my mom was there the entire time doing the kidney transplant recovery time. How was that for you real quick? How was that?
Well, the recovery time, I knew I was going to do, whether he wanted me to or not, I was going to be right there by his side every day in the hospital and when he came home. I was determined to do that much. So when he was able to come home, the lady that gave him her kidney, she came here with him. Mm-hmm. So I came over every day.
Every day.
Every day to make sure they was eating and all the things that they needed done, making AC's bed, making his bed, just doing everything that I could do to make sure they were both doing well. And I had to do that. And he would say, Mom, you don't have, okay, it didn't matter to me whether he said, Mom, you don't have to come to that. It didn't matter. I was parking out front anyway.
And so I just wanted to take this opportunity. The reason why we're sharing this is because, of course, this is the Kidney Cafe. This is where magic happens. To most black folk, it happens in the kitchen. I'm excited today because this is my mom's first time in the Kidney Cafe, and she chose turkey wings. And when we talk about turkey wings, guys, we have to remember that one of the P's, we talk about potassium, we talk about phosphorus, but now we talk about protein. And this is a good source of protein that's in the turkey wings. And she baked them, so it was really great. We have vegan. You can always substitute your flour with some vegan flour, and she just used flour and water, and you saw the few little seasons that she used. And there was no butter, no oil, none of that in the pan. And it came out looking really good. So I want you to serve me a little, can you put me a little something on the plate? And I'm not going to begin to tell you, everybody, and I got you the tongs in case you wanted that, but that's fine. But let me tell you something. She makes the best grits ever. The best grits in the world. Oh, my God. Well, she make the best everything, but the grits especially is delicious. That's all I want is one, and I can just get this little out of here since it was there. All right, everybody. So it's a tradition that I taste the food that come in that we cook on the show to tell you how well it is. You have the recipe. It's on the screen as well as on the website. Let's see what's going on. Ladies and gentlemen, this normally my mother would say, will you slow down? Well, as usual, everybody say amen. Delicious.
Welcome to the Kidney Cafe. I'm so glad you came to stay. Sit on down, make yourself at home. Welcome to the Kidney Cafe with Chef Benet. to the Kidney Cafe.